Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network. Hi, this is Amit Doshi, and I wanted to thank each and every one of our listeners. It's been 2 years since I founded IVM, and it's been an amazing 2 years. We wanted to learn a little bit more about who is listening to our shows, and so we put together a short survey. The survey is anonymous, and we aren't going to be collecting any personal information. I would really appreciate it if you could take a couple of minutes out of your day and go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and fill it out. Thanks, and please keep listening.
You're listening to TFG Football.
Hello everyone, it's a new episode of the TFG Indian Football Podcast, and as we said yesterday towards the end of the show that today it'll be too much of technical stuff because the ISL people were in Kolkata and they were talking about, with the two clubs, the big clubs, East Bengal and Mohun Bagan. A lot of talks happened, the FSDL group, Football Sports Development Limited, and everyone, IFA President Subrata Datta were there, and a lot of things happened. They spoke, some agreed, some didn't, so the whole thing will be talked about today. So I am off the show. I mean, I'm not going anywhere, I'm right here. Joining me in the studio is Kevin. Okay, so it'll be Kevin and Chiranjit who will talk, but majorly I think Chiranjit will talk because he's the technical stuff guy, no? He knows everything about it in football. So it's on you, Chiranjit. Hello, what's up?
Yeah, so they met, and this was basically the first of many meetings, and as we have been saying, that they are tough negotiators. IMG-Reliance. Reliance works on a monopoly business model, so of course they will try to just come in and eat everything up, and it's up to the others to just try to stop it. So here's the deal with this. One of the shameful things for both East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, it seems that the new sponsorship deals that are coming in for them, it's coming in through IMG-Reliance. Okay, so what they have been doing, and I'm pretty sure this is not, it's not just East Bengal and Mohun Bagan for whom they are lobbying for sponsorship deals. Other ISL teams also probably got sponsors because of IMG-Reliance. So see, if they run an official league, if they are the promoters of an official league, they cannot directly go and quote sponsors for clubs, right? Because they're not supposed to have control over clubs. They're not supposed to have financial interests in any club, because that creates a conflict of interest. So what they can do, however, is they can go to companies and say, look, this is our business model, this is our profit margin, this is how things are going to pan out, and I think if you invest in XYZ club, you're going to make your money back. It's going to be worth your while. Okay. So it's basically this workaround or whatever you want to call it. It's what they can do, and it's what they are going around doing. So Diageo, who did not want to support Mohun Bagan, actually broke their previous contract. Apparently now in talks for coming back for a bigger deal. But here's the thing that's making things a bit more complicated, is because the draft that has been sent to East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, that created a bit of controversy and confusion as well, because even we were confused, like, okay, why is the ISL franchisee draft talking about sponsorship and all that stuff, because it's supposed to be just for your it's just supposed to be about getting the team into the tournament. Sponsorship is a very different issue, but because IMG-Reliance are also in the market to fish out new sponsors for these clubs, there is an interconnection. Okay, and that interconnection is reflected in the document. So basically what these guys are trying to do is to sort of lock down the terms of whatever sponsorships that come in for the next few years, maybe next 30 years, is that the sponsors get to control intellectual property and all that stuff. And I'm pretty sure the terms are written in a way so that even ISL or FSDL or IMG-Reliance gets a share of the profit. Right, because this is how IMG-Reliance makes its money back. Let's say the franchisee fee comes back to them in different ways, because they also do some parts of the event management, the whole organization of the thing, and other different little bits of rights or some revenue sharing in terms of the whole merchandise sale or something like that. So it's a very complicated scenario that they're proposing, where basically there are multiple pies in the whole league environment which can generate money, and IMG-Reliance have a finger each in every single pie. Okay. So this is what they are going for. What these guys will have a lot of problems with, East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, is because they are also trying to change the structure of the clubs. Like? There will be a CEO or a new board appointed that will run the team. Okay. But they want all the boards and the positions to be filled by the new sponsors or IMG-Reliance or whoever it is. Like AIFF is slowly being taken over by IMG-Reliance. Same thing can happen with East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, and that is something East Bengal and Mohun Bagan cannot stand for. Okay. Because these are age-old institutions, and they have been run by, you can call it a membership-driven club, or you can call it like, okay, this particular bunch of people have been holding on to power for too long, and that has been slightly detrimental to the clubs as well. But seriously, it's these clubs, it's these people who have gotten the clubs where they are, to the extent that now IMG-Reliance is desperate to get them on board. Okay, so why would they give up their power? And I'm not totally negative about this either. If there are new corporate structures implemented within the club to manage the first team and the academies or whatever, there can be new directions, new dimensions that will open up in terms of footballing relationships. Like, imagine if Tata Steel comes in through this deal to East Bengal, right? Tata runs the best football academy in the country, Tata Football Academy. Yeah. Then Tata Football Academy gets a direct channel into the East Bengal club, and East Bengal's own academy can have a student sharing program with Tata Football Academy. This is all for the better. But if this new deal allows the sponsors or IMG-Reliance or whoever it is that puts in charge of everything, then it becomes a problem, because the East Bengal and Mohun Bagan identity is very conservative, in a sense that if you change the logo, people will rebel. If you change the jersey color a bit, people will rebel. All that stuff needs to be considered. So what this proposes is that the new sponsor will come and change the logo, and it's not like it has not been done before. The word Kingfisher was inserted into the East Bengal logo when they became sponsors. The Mohun Bagan logo was slightly modified with McDowell Mohun Bagan written on top of the emblem. But see, those are acceptable changes, because it does not alter the original look and feel of the logo. Okay. So people went with it. Okay. Yeah, but that is only possible because the club people had equal control over what the logo was going to look like, what the jerseys were going to look like. Okay, so this is the key that they are trying to find out here, is that IMG-Reliance obviously put a first draft that puts everything in their own favor, but that's what they do. They know that's not going to go through. The people are not going to agree to just hand over their clubs to IMG-Reliance. Right? So they are going to put the first draft, which is heavily favored, on their own side. So now they're going to talk, and now they're going to discuss, and some proposals will be accepted, some will be rejected, and slowly they're going to build towards a conclusion which is more even. Okay. So my bet is, in the end, within the next 2 months, you will see new proposals emerging that will be like, hey, the logo will be a joint decision. Okay, to make sure that the sponsor can make some changes, but it cannot alter the original look of the logo.
Okay.
Somebody is there to keep a tab on that. Somebody is there to make sure that the existing club members get their rights when the ISL takes place. Somebody has to be there to see that even though the ISL is the main league of the season, East Bengal and Mohun Bagan follow all rules and play Calcutta Football League or Durand Cup or these smaller tournaments as well.
Okay.
Because simply, and not because it it makes financial sense or whatever it is, but it's because something. This is what they do. Everything cannot be just driven by financial sense. Something has to be, something that has been the norm has to be adhered to. The club members who pay the club for years and years should get benefits when the ticket sales happen. They should get cheaper or free tickets. So all these things, have to be worked out. So that's what it's going to be. There will be a board in the end which will have representatives from the clubs and new people. Maybe somebody from IMG-Reliance, or it won't be directly from IMG-Reliance. It will be, the current AIFF scenario. Somebody who was with IMG-Reliance is suddenly, on the board of the club. So it will become a revolving door situation just like that. But yeah, there will be some control that will go over to IMG-Reliance. There will be some control that comes in through the new sponsors that sign on for these clubs, and at least half of the shares by the end of the negotiations, I think, will be with East Bengal and Mohun Bagan existing, the honchos. Okay, the president and the secretary, they will all have their say in how the club operates. So it will be, a long negotiation process, lots of back and forth. And the good part is that we have seen East Bengal and Mohun Bagan realize they have to come together. The AIFF senior vice president Subrata Datta, he's taking the lead in this. He's representing both clubs. So this is easily tells you how powerful IMG-Reliance is.
Yeah.
Because East Bengal and Mohun Bagan never do anything together. And here they are just coming together and saying, okay, no, we have to fight them together and say, like, we're going to watch out for each other. We're going to just have one person speak for both of us so that the, IMG-Reliance get a sense that we are totally united in this.
Yeah,
and we will fight this together. So that's what it is. The stakes are high on both sides. East Bengal and Mohun Bagan don't want their identity to go away and become just a corporate team, just run by business professionals. And IMG-Reliance know that they cannot just tout a legitimate national league without East Bengal and Mohun Bagan. So they have to get them on board. So both of them know that it has to happen. And that's why even Tutu Bose, who is the club president of Mohun Bagan, he put out this statement just raising his complaints about some of the terms in the draft. He still says that in the end we have to work together and we have to come to an agreement. Everybody knows this has to happen because the stakes are so high. But it's just going to be a very arithmetic business deal where everybody just tries to squeeze every extra drop of profit that comes their way in the final agreement.
Okay.
So it's going to be like that. It's going to be a lot of back and forth. And now we have seen, the FSDL people come here and talk to East Bengal and Mohun Bagan. Maybe it will go back to just, email exchanges or video conference or whatever it is. I have a suspicion that they will be talking at least twice every week.
Okay.
From now on.
Okay.
And it's going to be a very rapid process.
Now, I have a question after listening to all of this. Will there be a situation where it arrives that Mohun Bagan and East Bengal will have to give in to the demands of IMG-Reliance? Do you see that happening?
There may be. It may happen, but it won't be a case where IMG-Reliance just scores a one-sided victory.
Okay.
Simply because these clubs know that even if they're not playing in the ISL, they can survive.
Okay.
But ISL cannot be sustainable in the long run without East Bengal and Mohun Bagan. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
Because if now the whole whatever you call it, the whole confrontation between ISL and East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, it's come out in the open. And if you notice in the past, this conflict was always hush-hush. East Bengal and Mohun Bagan were not really criticizing IMG-Reliance when the Goan clubs were leaving.
Yeah.
Okay, that's because they were preparing for this day. They were just getting ready to come on board. So all of that was working towards this, and now finally that they are on the table and people are expecting an outcome. People are expecting them to make it work. It's gonna be a do or die situation for both of them. Because if this falls through, people will definitely question the legitimacy of the new National League. Because let's face it, Bengaluru FC are not going to win the league this year. Okay, and so what kind of a league that will be if only Bengaluru FC gets through, and you have nobody else from the top division?
Yeah.
How can you just take a mid-table club, make a new top division with just 8 random new clubs that have just come into the picture?
Yeah.
Right. So it won't be legitimate. There will be grounds for suit. And the only reason the clubs that are getting forcefully relegated, Mumbai FC, Shillong Lajong, Aizawl FC, and Aizawl FC is another freaking issue we should talk about. They don't have the financial means to run a case of that high stakes. It's going to be super expensive.
Yeah.
Right. Only 3 clubs had that kind of money: East Bengal, Mohun Bagan, and Bengaluru FC. Okay, and because all 3 of them were on board, it kind of threw the other clubs under the bus.
Yeah.
And they had basically 2 options: either fight to their death, because anyway you're going to lose if you take on IMG-Reliance with that kind of limited means, or they could just take the relegation and accept whatever handouts that comes to them from the central revenue pool. So they just had to they had to choose between a rock and a hard place. So, but if the merger goes through and there is no East Bengal Mohun Bagan in the National League, it doesn't matter if Bengaluru FC is still there, because one is not enough.
Yeah.
You're not bringing the best clubs of the country into the top division, period, and that is ground enough for a major legal challenge against AIFF, and maybe they can knock the doors of FIFA.
Yeah.
So this what might happen is if East Bengal and Mohun Bagan are together, that is a huge amount of capital. I'm not talking about just the club funds. It's about the people who control the clubs, who consider the clubs to be an extension of their own identity. Tutu Bose, president of Mohun Bagan, owns a shipping company where all the ships are named after Mohun Bagan. Okay, so that's what it is. The club is basically their legacy, their life's work. So if some harm happens to those clubs, you will see them go after IMG-Reliance, and a huge amount of political clout will go with it. So IMG-Reliance cannot afford to not take all 3 of these clubs into the new ISL or the new top division, which will be called ISL, which does not matter. So that's where it is. East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, they want the financial worries to go away. They want the they want more infrastructure development within the clubs. East Bengal are right now working on their pitch. They're going to install floodlights next month. Everything is looking up, and if that extra money flow comes into the club, it will just take them to the next level. And they all want that. They want to be a respected name in Asia.
Okay.
And this deal can help them do that. And IMG-Reliance will get legitimacy for ISL from this. And if they manage to inject their own people in the clubs, in AIFF, that means they get to control the league forever.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's what it is. Both the parties are fighting for a future where their survival and thriving is guaranteed. So too much is on the stake to just lose this over, some petty percentage battle. I want 50% or I want 55%, you get 45%, and just over a few percentages, you don't reach an agreement. That is not a scenario that exists here.
Yeah. Well, that's how it looks right now, and as Chiranjit rightly said, just to, probably highlight few things is that ISL is something that needs clubs like Bagan and East Bengal. So even if they keep an ultimatum, at the end of the day, it will have a say. Both parties will have a say, and they, as he said, will come to an even stage where it's like, okay, we both agree on these things and let's go move ahead. Kevin, now you must be new to all of this. Okay, so what are your thoughts? And when you were writing that story, when you read up stuff, what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's just a period of big transition in not just these big clubs, it's also in Indian football. And everybody has to find a middle ground where everyone is content with what they are getting at the end. And there will be a lot of resistance from the oldest of the stakeholders in both the clubs, because they are life. They've given their all to make this club where it has reached right now. And it's been there for generations. It's not just one person's effort that has been the image is created. It's a legacy, as people keep talking. It's been handed over from generation to generation. So it's very it's understood that everybody will try to have their own say, final word in this. And yes, it's also about the finances. If you do not have that part given to you, that share given to you, it's not going to help themselves in the long run. Yes, there is the traditional part, that image of the club on one side, but there is also this transition and that fear that we might not have a say going further in this transition. So there will be back and forth, as Chiranjit said, and there will be always a fight for a balance of having the image and also the stability of the club, because it shouldn't be a club that's been handed to anybody who can just destroy the club's image. It's really going to be sad for, it shouldn't be like how the Goan clubs have left. They had fought for it, but they lost. This is not going to be a one-way battle for any club or even the IMG-Reliance people here.
Okay. Well, that's what's about the show today. It was, yes, the technical stuff and a lot of, detailing over there, as we promised. Now, if one show has to be good and happy, the other one has to be balanced with a lot of information, because people want to know what's happening. Just to avoid confusion, we dedicated the show on talking about this. Now, you'll have to keep... one more show is out on your way, TFG interview podcast, where we spoke to Oscar Bruzo, the new head coach for Mumbai FC. He talks about all various things like the upcoming task that he has. He's concentrating on Churchill Brothers and about Indian football in general, and how he's happy to be back in I-League, which he terms as a development and the grassroots level, and he calls himself that kind of coach. So, well, not disclosing more to it, we'll talk about in detail in the next show, on that show. So beware, and you have to be alert when that show drops in. So have a great day. If you're listening to our show on YouTube, hit the like, share, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon so you get updates of our new episode. You can also listen to our podcast on iTunes, Audioboom, SoundCloud, and various other podcasting apps. Download the IVM podcast app on Android and iOS. Follow the TFG Football Twitter handle. You can follow us as well. Have a great day. Enjoy the show. Enjoy and come back and look forward to the Oscar Bruzo interview. Cheers.
Hey man, just help me out, man. I need some podcast, man. I haven't had a fix in a week. Just need some.
Don't you worry about it. I got podcast galore for you, man. Just go to ivmpodcast.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna check it out.